Everybody, it's Victoria here from Outdoor-Classrooms.com. I'm thrilled that you are here. And today we have great questions and great answers. So again, this is the afternoon tea with Victoria, tea time. So grab your cup of tea. It's a time that I am spending with you to answer any of your questions that you may have regarding your outdoor classrooms. So this is a wonderful time to post comments, to learn more about outdoor classrooms and what we do. So today, just a little backstory on who I am and where I'm coming from. I've been always an early childhood educator, landed up educating, teaching teachers for years and years and years, and came into really a passion for outdoor classrooms, not as an educator, but as a parent. When we transformed with a group of people, transforming an outdoor space, a courtyard outdoor space into an outdoor classroom many, many, many years ago when my kids were in preschool and kindergarten, and they are now a senior in high school and a sophomore in college, which is hard to believe. So since then, I've been trying to spread the word, offer seeds of inspiration to educators and parents who want to transform their own outdoor spaces into outdoor classrooms or backyard teaching gardens, whatever the like. And we have many, many questions that have been coming in as the new school year has been upon us. I have actually a whole bunch of questions coming from a school in Connecticut that I'm working with. And they are going through they have 10 teachers going through our outdoor teaching boot camp, which talks about the 5 phases of teaching outdoors. And one of the questions before the kickoff is what are their challenges and roadblocks that are keeping them from going outside? So one of them was, oh my goodness, their outdoor space is near the road. And I know this is probably an issue for many of you. What happens if the outdoor space that you've been given is near a road, and you're worried about kids going into the road or things falling, a ball rolling into the road, that type of thing. So really thinking about, okay, that is a roadblock if you're near a road, and that's kind of not a space that you're used to. So the first thing that comes to mind is about creating some sort of boundary. And we talk a lot about this in actually the last interview that we had we do a tour and talk of outdoor classrooms in our Circle membership. And we talked about just this in that particular tour and talk, and how she created a boundary to keep the children in a designated area in their space. They had sort of the opposite problem. They had a huge field. So how did she condense that? So really thinking about boundaries in the first place, and boundaries, what they mean to children. So oftentimes they can be a form of security, but on the other flip side, they can be looked upon as placing limits on children. Say, you can only do this, and that's sort of just the opposite of what we want children to feel when they are in their outdoor classroom space, because we are trying to open up our teaching practice and teaching without walls. So how can we do that? So we are talking a little bit about how can we turn our boundaries really into sensory teaching experiences for children. So I have 7 ways, 7 ideas, 7 seeds of inspiration, however you want to look and think about it, in terms of really looking at that roadblock, the roadblock being that you are very close to the road. Or I've also had teachers write in saying that there's a noise issue in terms of their classrooms right next to another classroom, and they can't necessarily, the noise is distracting to the kids. So one class might be doing a very loud activity while another class is doing a very quiet activity, or there might be a recess right next door to their their outdoor classroom space. So really figuring out, where your outdoor spaces are, designating them, what's allowed space, what's not allowed space, but yet at the same time, how can we create creative boundaries that aren't restricting children and they're feeling like they're being placed with limits. So are you ready? Get your pad of paper, take a sip of tea before we start. And we've got number 1 is really encouraging artistic experiences. What's that mean in terms of boundaries? So that means we might turn art, for instance, like an art easel or a chalkboard, that we could make that into an entire boundary. So really thinking outside of the box there. It could be a structure that might be built, but on one side of it, it is a chalkboard on the inside. It could be a small little mini chalkboards with any type of recycled materials or or just even making easels that could be built. So encouraging artistic experiences is number 1, and really thinking about how these artistic experiences can be turned into an art experience. And probably I think the most simple would be creating a chalkboard of some sort. And that can be done with as simple as finding whatever you're going to build for the actual chalkboard and painting chalkboard paint. So that very simple. And that creates some sense of boundary. Number 2 is to grow a garden. You think, I can't really, you could actually put raised garden beds in your outdoors, in that boundary space. So you have sort of a block. So you have maybe however long your space is that you need to block from the road or from the sound. You could do a raised garden bed, but you could also do a trellis that comes up. So you are growing vines, and there's wonderful beans. You can grow all sorts of wonderful things that you could grow that grow up. And so you have actually a beautiful wall that is separating the road or the noise. I'm just going to say road, but that also includes if you have another classroom that's near you, that might be loud, that type of thing. But I'm going to use road as the danger zone. So growing a garden that's up and making it a living garden. And that then in turn can turn into an educational opportunity. So that's number 2. So what would be the educational opportunity? It could be measuring, it could be, whatever you're growing, that type of thing, how fast it's growing. You could do all sorts of math opportunities there, and even doing some creative storytelling. So number 3 is to make music. And that would mean that you would create a music wall. And again, it could be the same type of thing. It could be a raised garden bed and parts of it being a music wall, or just, it could be, again, you want to find someone that's handy in the construction. It doesn't have to be a fancy thing. It can be made out of all recycled materials, so on and so forth. But that would be an idea, is to create that to be a musical. So that's number 3. So far we've got encouraging artistic experiences, which means you could create a boundary like a chalkboard or an easel. You could grow a garden up. That's number 2. Number 3 is you could make a music wall. And number 4 is you can play with water. So you never thought that would be something that would help separate the road from the, so even if you don't have access to water in that particular space, you can bring water there. Or even if it's not water, it could be balls or small things, but when the cars are not moving, obviously, but it would be sort of like a ball run or a water wall, that type of thing, same type of thing. It would be some type of structure that you could build with PVC pipes or something that you're putting on top onto a wall, which you could do with Velcro, all sorts of different ideas to make a movable, depending on the age and stage of your children. Older children can move the contraptions into different things, and younger children could just either you would do it or and have it prepared for them to create some sort of water wall or ball run experience. Are you getting the idea in terms of really thinking outside of the box and how to make not just a boundary? It could be so many different things. The fifth one is actually using just materials to create your boundary. So this is what one of our subscribers did. Somebody in our community she just got hay barrels and made a line of hay barrels, which ended up she was on a field, and she made a tunnel with the hay barrels. The kids would kind of move it, but generally speaking, they would stay in the same place. And that was a boundary that helped really define the inside of the outdoor classroom versus the outside of the outdoor classrooms. The kids knew to stay within a certain area. She also had a chain link fence put up, so that created some 3D feeling in her space. So really thinking about that, and then other things that they wanted to use on a different fence was, that sort of bamboo, so they could hide the neighbors and things like that. So there's lots and lots of different possibilities in terms of creating with boundaries. So what was I saying? Hay barrels is great. Logs are great, wonderful, are wonderful ways to define the space, even if you have that just as, for kids to sit on, creating benches, so on and so forth. So this sixth one, did I say there was, I think I said there were, oh yes, there's, the sixth one is platforms, to create some sort of platform in your outdoor space that is going to be, it could be a stage, it could be a gathering place, but again, that big, it could be just a piece of wood that's creating some sort of platform that's going to help define the outdoor space and create some type of boundary. So again, it could be the backdrop has a curtain or something. So lots of different possibilities there. So number 7, our final one is logs. So I think I already said that. So maybe stumps and hay barrels and logs, they go all into one maybe. So maybe we really only have 6. So yeah, logs are great, and stumps are great because it really signals to the kids where to go, as a desk would maybe in a classroom or that type of thing. So it really is a wonderful way to create a gathering space in your outdoor space. So in review, I love this because I'm now, my mind is percolating in terms of how can I apply some of these to my own outdoor space. We've just started up the Secret Gardens Nature Preschool Program, or nature programs. I'm going between names, but we are so excited to be offering those here. And we live on a kind of a busy street, so I'm rethinking to have the kids and families come through kind of not a back entrance, but there's a different way that they can come in if I sort of fix it up a little bit to redirect the traffic. So they would park on one street instead of going on the busy street to get to us. I'm redirecting them into, and I'm going to have a archway that's going to be very clear on, here's another way to get into the secret gardens. So Yeah, so really rethinking that and thinking about how kids are entering your space. Is it safe? Is it, where will they put their materials? That type of thing. So I could go on and on and on. It just sort of gets my mind moving. But thinking about boundaries and thinking about how you can create boundaries in your outdoor space. What times is your, what time of day is, like, if you are near a road, when is that road being occupied the most? So thinking about that and the timing and what you're doing in your outdoor classroom during those times. So really calculating and thinking about that. So it's just being, it's planning. It's really planning and really thinking about your outdoor space a little bit differently. So again, number one, encourage artistic experiences. So you could create a boundary with a chalkboard or building some sort of art into your boundary. Number two is to grow a garden that goes up, and that could be in a raised garden bed or in having a trellis that goes up. And that provides a whole bunch of educational opportunities. Number three is to make music and to create some sort of maybe a music wall. Number four is to play with water, build a water wall or a ball wall or something where kids are really kind of using their engineering. And that kind of can be defined by the age and stage of the children that you're working with. And number five, we're going to combine 5 and 6 together. So adding logs, stumps, hay barrels, all of that type of thing can be signals to children that there is some sort of barrier here. And so that's very, very helpful for kids. And the final one, number 6, is platforms. Add some sort of platform or a stage or something where you can gather. And that will also help you define the space. So again, I hope you can join us for the outdoor teaching boot camp, which is going to be going live in October. We will be opening up the doors for registration at the end of the month. And I hope you can join us. I will leave a link below this video. So much greatness. So the Outdoor Teaching Bootcamp will really guide you with an assessment to kick off and really figuring out which phase of teaching that you're in, whether you're in phase 1, which is infrastructure, phase 2, which is getting outdoors, phase 3, which is teaching and learning, phase 4, which is dealing with challenging weather, and phase 5, which is sustainability. So really thinking about those elements and which phase you're in and how you can really be the best outdoor classroom possible. So what better time to go outside and be outside and really tweak your teaching practice to be outdoors, enjoying. And this is actually the best time to probably dive right in, because then you'll be all prepared when the winter months hit. So I hope you can join us. I'll leave a link below, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.